One of the things I recommend to small business owners is to learn how to do their own websites. And the reason for that is that a lot of times you can get a lot more exposure for your business by having multiple websites. And these can be done very inexpensively. It only costs $10 to $15 to register a domain for a year. And website hosting usually only runs $6 or $7 a month when you pay in advance for it. So it's a very cheap way of getting multiple websites put up when you do it yourself, rather than having to hire a website designer every time you do it. Now, the way that I recommend people do their own websites is to set them up as blogs. And a lot of times when I talk to people about setting up a blog, they go, well, I don't really want to, have to update this thing every day or every week. Having a blog sounds like a lot of work. And they're thinking in terms of the conventional blog or what bloggers are known for doing. And so let me give you an example of what people typically think of in terms of a blog. This one is a very well-known entertainment blog, PerezHilton.com. I'm not a particular fan, but he has done very well with blogging for himself. Perez Hilton is started out as strictly an online blogger, to my knowledge, and because of the popularity of his blog, he now is on television and is very well known worldwide. So a lot of people think of this when they think of a blog and blogging, and this is the fairly standard blog format, although his is pretty flamboyant, as is Perez Hilton. But usually there's some kind of navigation on the sides, and then down the center you have stories. Like this one's story on Mel Gibson, story on Real Housewives, and you can see this is standard blog type of approach where you have the stories or updates in the middle and your navigation on the sides of the page. So a lot of people, business owners who are busy, they don't want to have to be bothered with updating all the time. And so when you talk to them about a blog, if they're thinking of something like this, maybe somewhat more subdued than this particular one, then they tend to resist the idea of putting up a blog. But let me show you another blog. And this is one I actually set up for a client. Wendy Barker is a poet, and let's go to her homepage here. And you can see this is the first page of her website, and this is a blog. It is set up on a blog platform, and the only way you could really tell that by looking at it is down at the bottom we have in the footer it says powered by WordPress and the Atahualpa theme. WordPress is one of the most popular blogging platforms, and it is the one that I recommend you use for your websites because it is probably the most stable and it has the most options available for you. WordPress is available completely for free. Most of the themes, as they're called, in this case I'm using Atahualpa theme, and this one is free. Most of the themes are also free, although there are some themes that you pay for. There are probably thousands of free themes, and most of them are customizable as much as you want. The Atahualpa theme doesn't always look like this. In fact, that's why I use it, is it's highly customizable, and you can make things look any way you want to using this particular theme. So in this case, my client did not want to have a blog-looking blog, so to speak. And so we set it up to where it looks like a more static HTML type site, which HTML is kind of the older style of websites where you had like this, static pages where it wasn't updated on a regular basis. And the reason why I recommend using blogs for small business owners is because of the ease in setting them up. When you have a blog set up, and the initial setup does take some time and it does take some learning on how to use the interface, but once you're set up and you want to add or change anything, it's very easy. For example, here is the page that you use for adding a post or adding new updated content to your website. And the way you do it is you put in a title here, you put in text if you want, you can add an image by clicking on that little box, and you can upload an image from either from your computer, or you can put a link to an image on a website. You can upload a video, you can upload an audio, which could either be a voice recording or music, and you can add other media as well, which could be things like PDF documents and things like of that nature. So you can put a lot of different types of content on here, but it's very user-friendly. If you've used email, generally it's fairly easy to figure out how to use this interface to add content to your site. Versus using something like this. This is Adobe Dreamweaver, and here there's really not a lot to tell you what to do. I've added an image into this particular box. I can add text here, and Adobe Dreamweaver is a good type of software if you wanted to design websites, but it is much more complicated to use. It's harder to learn how to use, and it's much more difficult to update your site when you want to do that. So using this type of interface, I think, is much easier for most small business owners. And like I said, if you're used to using email, this one is a much easier way to go. So that's the general idea of using a blog. And like I said, you can have a blog that looks like a conventional blog. Hopefully not quite as flamboyant as this for most businesses, but it can be very normal, for lack of a better word, website looking, where it doesn't have updated content, and you can put your navigation anywhere you want to. You can put it on the side, you can put it across the top, you can put it on the right side, you can do all sorts of things on the blog platform. So that pretty much covers it for the basics of why I think you should use a blog. If you want to learn more about how to set up a blog, either on an existing website or to set up a blog as a new website, please feel free to visit my website, which happens to be a blog, at www.diysmallbusinessmarketing.com. And if you found this video helpful, please feel free to leave a comment. If you didn't find it helpful or didn't like it for some reason, feel free to leave a comment about that as well, and please give suggestions for how I can improve on it. If you found this useful and want to share it with other people, please feel free to click on the like button, tweet it on Twitter, or share it in any way you like. Thank you for watching.